Hello everyone and welcome back for the final time of Season 5 to the AOR PC GT3 Elite League on Project Cars. Man, it's been a fun and long season that we have put behind us, and now the final round. 12 out of 12 at Sonoma, 38 lap race awaiting us here today. I'm Fizzy, and as always, joining me in the commentary box is the man himself, Yorkie065.
Hello, welcome everybody. It's been a long season, 12 races.
You sound exhausted.
I kind of am.
Yeah.
But yeah, 12 races, and we're in the final one, the end of season 5. It's a little bit sad,
It really is.
if I'm honest. But yes, it's should be a good race. Fizzy, shall we talk about who is still running what, where? Because obviously the Drivers' Championship has been wrapped up as of last week. Kaki took that one.
I'm not quite sure I understand your question. Who's running what where?
Okay, right. We know there's still a battle for second position.
Yes, that's
Who's
true, that's true.
running in that, and what other battles do we need to watch out for in the Drivers and Team Championship?
No, that is a good question, now that I've understood it. So the man you're watching on the screen right now, Kaki, he wrapped up the championship title last week at Hockenheim. Has a sufficient enough gap that no one can catch him here in the final race, so it's basically just a kind of a race for fun for him. He doesn't really need to worry about anything. He's already got wrapped up, so he can just try and do as he can without any pressure. But the man I'm going to skip to right now is the man in well, the best position, I guess, for second place in the championship, which is not yet decided. That is Kanuma, who's been kind of the closest man to Kaki all season long in terms of the championship, and was the final man in the hunt until he missed out last week. And he is currently holding up to second place in the championship by 10 points only over Perry Gronstra, who is also a double race winner this season. And only 10 further points behind him is Papan as well, who has also won a race this season. So some very top drivers also fighting for that second spot in the championship. There's also a couple of other close battles. We got TonyR, who is not here today, unfortunately. The man we kind of watched in the last 10 laps last week when my game crashed. He's not here for the finale, which is unfortunate, but luckily for him, he's got 5th place in the championship, kind of pretty much wrapped up. Behind him, though, Andrex in 6th has not his teammate Maisie to worry about, because he was also not able to attend today, but he has got E. Claessens only 5 points behind, who might well snatch that 6th place from him. And Yorkie, it's like you said, it's been an amazingly long season. We've had so much action covered throughout the season that's taken place, and I don't know, it's like I said, it's sad that it's about to end. It always is.
Yeah, it's come to that time once again. But we shall be back for a Season 6. Plans are currently being worked out for that. We're discussing behind the scenes as to what changes we are going to be making, if any changes at all. And yeah, hopefully we'll see a number of the people who have been hanging around in the chat. Hello once again to those who are there. Basically to hopefully see them racing next season. That'll be very good, and maybe possibly even commentating on you guys. And we should probably turn our attention to the qualifying session.
That's a good point.
Currently
We are in qualifying.
underway. Yeah. Just looking at the time, we've got 7 minutes left.
Yeah, we have got pretty much half the session left to go, and at the moment it is not Kaki on provisional pole, as he's usually been so far this season. He has he's down in 8th at the moment, which is interesting. We got Perry Gronstra currently sitting on provisional pole, and I think, if I know this track correctly, is in the final corner right now, about to put another lap on the board. Let's see if he can improve on his current time, which is 1:27.2. Can he put an even stronger marker down as across the line? No, he can not, but he carries on his way. Behind him in quality right now by only 1/10 of a second. The man who is only 10 points behind him in the championship as well, Papant, doing well so far. Mini Black then also up in 3rd, and Freda in 4th. So yeah, different guys going well here. Both of those in the BMW Z4 though, Yorkie, and it has to be said, based on previous experience in the league on this track, the Z4 tends to do pretty well around this particular circuit.
Yes, it does. It suits it very, very well because there's no particular points where it's straight and it's high speed. It's all high speed corners, and turns tend to kind of follow one after the other. So it'll suit into Z4's hands very, very nicely, especially with the efficient aero that it has around this circuit.
Speaking of aero, Freddy's car looks a bit damaged, so I'm gonna help his aero.
Oh dear, that's
it's up with 5th though, it's not too bad.
good.
But Kaki's now popping himself up to P3 as he's gone back in the pits briefly and then back out again. So I saw some shocked responses in the chat as Kaki was a second off the pace. I mean, he's still actually much further off than usual, 7/10 off Gronstra, but you know, Kaki is already back with the championship. He's probably just chilling, don't you think? Today?
More than likely, he's obviously like to get a half decent result, but it doesn't really matter for him. It's all about the other drivers who are around him. Plus, also, I have heard a couple of people say that the McLaren isn't good around this circuit, so he may actually be struggling with the car that could be coming into play. As to one of the reasons why, but even though we've said that, he's got himself up into 3rd place, and he's just under 7/10 of a second off Gronstra at the moment.
Which is not bad, really, when you think about it, despite you know, the high bar he set for himself earlier in the season. I guess we can point out we have 20 drivers taking part today. 7 drivers unfortunately are missing. Quite a bit of a bunch of drivers that unfortunately couldn't make it today, but of course personal reasons and all kinds of things coming into play. And that one, I'll try to just quickly read through the drivers that are not here. That would be Macy, as he said, who we of course said goodbye to in the interview after the race last week. His final race on Project Cars for a little while. And TonyR, who is not here. Blue Rat, Rhaegor, Silver Arrow, and the Wizard of Noz is also not here. And I think there's one more guy who I haven't actually had any notice from, but I haven't been able to work out yet, Yorkie, who that is.
I can't see tricky. Off the top of my head.
I'm sure we'll come up and figure it out at some point.
Yeah. Did you say TonyR again?
I did say Tony.
I did. Okay.
Those were the 6 names I had on my list, but there's 7 drivers missing, so it's like, what? That doesn't make sense. Either way, let's take our attention back to qualifying again. Only 3 minutes now to go. And Gronstra again going in the final corner, but he's going suspiciously slow, I must say. Taking a very wide line, actually letting a car through there, so I think it's just starting a new lap and not actually... Well, if I wasn't happy with the lap he ended. And let's go on board with Papa. Actually, he's in the final corner. Let's go on board with him for a lap, I think, Yorkie. And I don't know, you can talk a bit about your previous experiences with this track.
I might be able to, if I can too, go on board with Papand. I was just still sat in the garage like I previously did, so bear with me 1 second, Russ. We'll just pick him up coming out through turn 2 and heading towards
the so Papand's now gone off into the wall.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Papand, very much. Let's check out Gronstra instead.
Yeah, where's he? He's down in the carousel, the long turn 6 according to my track map. For some reason they've got turn 3 and then a turn 3A rather than turn 4. So yeah, a little bit interesting with the American corner numbers. Like for instance, he's now currently going through turn 8.
And then here's 8A apparently. Okay.
8A, yeah. And then you're into turn 9. Can't see why turn 8A wasn't turn 9. But we won't question that. Instead, we'll just run with the map and we should go through it because that'll be easiest. And obviously, he's now coming down into the final hairpin. Very small lock of the inside wheel. Taking quite a nice line as Martin van der Bent there clips the wall just in front of him. But doesn't look like he's going to hinder Gronstra too much, and he does actually go a little bit quicker. By 200ths of a second, I believe that was. That's improvement there.
Margins can be when these guys are pushing, of course. He improved by like 300ths of a second or something. Papan back
Yes,
in the
some of
pits.
He's actually just popped himself back up ahead of Papand. Papand is only a tenth of a second off. Actually,
He's 10th up.
no,
And Kalbutski's up in
ignore me.
third.
What was I saying?
Hideaki is in fourth. Kaki's been dropped to fifth then. Unless he's
no, he's
actually...
just popped himself in fourth. He's
okay,
literally
just
just
as
come
I
over
said
the
that. Okay. Jesus Christ, he's all coming in thick and fast right at the end.
Hideaki's out on track though, and looks like he is on a lap at the moment, and judging by his sector time so far, he's looking pretty good. Slightly faster than Claessen's in sixth, so he's coming up into the crucial braking zone now of the final hairpin. Quite a big lock up there from the inside front wheel. He gets on the power, and he's just this one final turn, which is a flat out left-hander. And then he'll be across the start-finish line, and he does not improve on his time of 10 seconds to go.
Is anyone else out on track? Just quickly
Centro,
going. Oh, Centro!
But he's not improved, and Gibbs is too far away from the start-finish line to complete qualifying.
So here we go. Gronstra on pole for the season finale here then, just ahead of Papand. And then Klawutski an impressive third. Kaki only fourth, and then Hideaki, Klaassen, Sula, Mini Black, Freda, and Kanuma in the top 10 then. Jellyfish headed the best of the rest there. And Gibbs are at the back. Jinja only also on the back row, which is interesting. Kaki's teammate, of course.
Kanuma qualified down in 10th. He's battling for second place in the championship with Perry Gronstra and Papand. He's got a lot of work cut out for himself in the race.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's going to be interesting, actually. On that topic, let's look at the championship. We already touched on a few other key battles that we have got left. And yeah, with Kanuma in second at the moment, qualifying down in 10th place on the grid, while Gronstra and Papand are both on the front row. He is very much under pressure to keep hold of that second place. It's going to be very interesting to watch his progress through the field and whether he can salvage enough points to hold those two guys up, off even, in the championship at the end of the race.
Manufacturers Championship?
Yes, let's bring that one up.
Talk about that?
And yeah, that is actually not decided yet for the title.
No, it's not.
And that is Kaki's team with the Flintstones Racing, along with Jinja, who are holding on by only 20 points to Clean Racing Group, who have all their drivers present today. Crucially, Gronstra, Klaassen, Freda all on the grid, and with Gronstra on pole position as well. That could be very interesting as well. It's going to be hard for us to keep the calculations on that one as we go through the race, but I guess we'll try to figure out at the end who has actually won that one. But yeah, it's been some interesting race at Sonoma in the past. It's one of the tracks which I've enjoyed the most the 2 times we've been here, season 3 and 2. Both of those seasons we were here, and I think both those seasons in the BMW Z4 as well, of course, I had my season best results at Sonoma in both those seasons. And I do remember a pretty good battle with you there at some point as well. Well, actually,
yes.
I passed you around the outside of the hairpin, didn't I?
Maybe. Let's not talk about that because we're going to the race. So this is what we need to focus on. Obviously, the green lights will be, I should say, the red lights will be coming up very, very soon. And then the guys will sit on the grid and do nothing for about 5 seconds. And eventually, they will pull off. And the manual rolling start formation lap will begin.
Here we go. Gronstra leads the field away for the final time of the season. It's a 12th round. We've had 11 rounds of a lot of interesting and action-packed racing. And now it all culminates here today. Gronstra obviously hoping to do enough to get second place in the championship, which is what he can do optimally here today. Papand on the second starting spot, having the same intentions, you would think. But in the rough though, compared to the BMW Z4, who tends to do well around there, but I have to say, I don't know exactly how good the rough is meant to be around this track, but he's not done too bad, has he, Papand?
No, it certainly hasn't. Actually, it seems like a very, very good car. Pretty much no matter where the rough goes, it seems to just do well all the time.
Must be good all around.
Does seem, yeah, very much a jack of all trades kind of car. So certainly a strong pick, and Papand knows it very well, having driven it a number of times in the past as well. And Look like the guys are starting to form up there in a 2x2 formation, although it's a little bit early. We've still got half the lap or so to go to actually get to the start-finish line. And yeah, it looks like a couple of people already slowing down a little bit, which is interesting. Interesting tactics.
Yeah, maybe Gronstra just feels the need to calm things down a little bit before the storm. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting 38 laps. It's a pretty twisty and tight track though, so I don't know. It remains to be seen exactly how much overtaking these guys will be able to produce for us here today, because it's very technical circuit, not too long straights either. But of course, into the hairpin here is one place where we could well see some action. But now we're about, Yoki, to start the final race of the season. It all comes down to this for Gronstra and Papan on the front row. And now Gronstra will decide when to put that foot down for the start of the race. 20 drivers ready for action. When will Gronstra say it's time to go, as he now comes across the line? And here we go for the season finale of Season 5. Gronstra well out away, and Papan's done enough on his reaction to keep hold of second place as well, going up the hill into turn 2, as Klabutski is also in third. Kaki, though, a little bit under pressure, Jokin. I think there's a car off in the background.
Yeah, I did see that. I watched down for a couple of people just to see Jellyfish come through in 10th. It looked like it was the Aston Martin of Martin van der Bent, but yes, it was. Just as I'm jumping back up to the front, I just saw a very quick snapshot of him there running at the back. He has rejoined. It looks like he doesn't have any damage on his car, so may have just been a little bit of a tap, a little bit of a push wide there through the second turn. But at the moment, the guys seem to be settled in pretty much the positions that they actually started the race in. Kaki seemed to come under the pressure a little bit from Hideaki behind him, and Perry Gronstra actually running out wide there through the hairpin, and Hideaki now coming under pressure from Claessens, who's currently up in 6th place, just ahead of the Bentley of Sula.
Indeed. There's a bit of action going on at the back of the field as well, a few side-by-sides going on. It's hard to find exactly where the action is going to be at this early stage of the race. It seems the top 4 at least have stayed in whatever position they started in. Mini Black might have a run. He's gone up the inside into the hairpin on, was that the Bentley of...
yes,
Sula, who's trying to come back at him actually with the undercut there, but Minibak's just done enough on the exit to hold on to that one. The camera didn't really help me, and though Sula is going to have a great slipstream, but really it's very, very tricky to keep close to the back of the cars going up the hill and into turn 2. It's not really ideal to be side by side there. It's such a tricky braking zone as well. And Kanuma, who is trying to hold on to that second place in the championship, he's gained 1 place off where he started. Is up in 9th at the moment. But of course, he needs to do a lot more, and now getting very close to the back of Sula as well.
Yep, he'll be pretty eager to try and get past as many people in this very early stage of the race. Try and make it a little bit easier for himself later on, as Sula goes a little bit deep there into the very long left-hander of turn 6, the carousel, as they come down at the bottom onto the drag strip and then up towards the right-handed hairpins. Kanuma having a little bit of a look down the inside of Sula there. Not entirely sure if there's a slight lag tap. It looked like Sula moved a little bit out wide, but they came side by side coming out of the exit. They are almost side by side, but Kanuma for the moment going to slot in behind Sula for 9th place. As Sula cuts across the curve there on the exit, is actually going to get slow down penalty as well.
That's going to hurt.
Kanuma came very, very close to the back of him. Sula losing a couple of positions. Got Z4 on the outside. A little bit of contact there between the two of them. They get stuck together and get pushed out wide. Andrex is going to slip through along with someone else. Z4 trying to go around the outside of Sula. He's currently down in 13th place. He's just popped himself back up into 12th. They're going to be side by side as they come across the start-finish line, coming through the fast left-handed kink. Z4 of Fredo's going to slot in behind Sula for the moment. As Sula's actually going on the attack, trying to see if he can make a position immediately back off of Andrex, who is currently running behind, I believe that is Wycombs. Yes, it is currently holding 10th place at the moment. So, yeah, slight mistake there from Sula. It's going to cost him an awful lot of positions.
And also, is that Danger Janetto's a lap down. He's already been lapped with some damage as well. So Danger Janetta season finale has not at all gone to plan. No idea what happened to him, but definitely an incident either by himself or with another car that has resulted in damage for him, and he's already a lap down. I assume he's actually been in the pits and fixed that damage then. Just that it hasn't visually changed on the spectator mode, but of course he's gonna have lost a lot of time as a result of that. And yeah, with Sula, very unfortunate for him dropping down the field, of course, with that cut track penalty. And then I think underset slightly into Fredde, as we have had another car attack. That was Kaki, the championship winner, in fact, who has dropped 2 positions there from running wide through the S's. He's dropped from 4th down to 6th with Claessens and Hideaki both taking advantage. An uncharacteristic mistake there from the champion.
Yeah, it's very, very easy to do through that very fast right-hander of turn 8A. It's basically you dip the wheel on the other side of the curb and you kind of get sucked into the gravel anyway because of that. And yeah, you just pick up a cut track penalty there. So drivers need to be very, very careful when trying to push through that corner to try and not overstep the curb there on the outside. Kaki obviously falling foul to that mistake as well, but has closed up pretty quickly to the Z4 of Claessens up in front of him. He'll be fairly eager to try and make a position back, but for the moment it looks like that Gronstra is pulling away from Papan, as Papan actually runs out wide there coming out the bottom of the carousel. Will allow Klawitsky to close up onto the back of him a little bit, coming through those sequence of turns 7 and 7A, and then into the S's section here. It's very, very fast, very, very flowing, and quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like Perry Gronstra is kind of in a class of his own here in the early stage of the race. Has pulled a healthy gap on Papand at the front of the field, even though they were only 2/10 apart on their previous lap time. So actually not too much difference there. And Klawitsky as well, trying to hold on to 3rd position, only just ahead of Hideaki, both in the same car as well. And you have, of course, Claessens also in the Z4. So at the moment, we have not seen really as much Z4 domination throughout the season as many might have expected. But certainly Sonoma, as we've touched on already, a track that really suits that Z4 machine. So there's no real surprise that Z4s are doing well here, and so far Klawitsky looking to take advantage of that and claim himself a podium, but of course a very, very long way yet to go in this race. And Kanuma, another interesting challenger here, who is up to 8th after starting 10th, but he definitely needs more if you want to keep hold of 2nd place in championship ahead of Gronstra.
Yeah, definitely. I was just watching Klawitsky there as he came into the carousel, ran a little bit deep there upon initial entry, and almost actually dipped the outside wheels onto the outside into the sand up there, but he just about managed to avoid doing that. But Hideaki is fairly close behind him, and then obviously Claessens following around as well. And these guys taking it fairly easy coming through the S section. I should also point out that Hideaki is of course on the pad as well, so very good strong performance by him, up in 4th position at the moment. He's done pretty well with himself so far this season. He's had a number of really good results with the pad as well.
Yeah, 4 times in the top 10.
Yeah, proving a number of times that the pad drivers can mix it in with the wheel users as well. You can just about tell that he is on the pad just by the way that the car moves around. It kind of twitches back and forth just a tiny little bit more than the other cars with the wheels.
Yeah,
do as he got a little bit sideways there.
He was absolutely attacking that curb.
Yes, he was.
Oh, it's really cool to see. Really throwing the car over the hilltop. It's very dodgy blind corners going up the hill, as we got some interesting sounds coming through here. I'm going to try to sort that out. That is someone following the channel, actually. Those sounds aren't actually meant to be on for the GT3 streams, but I guess thank you to whoever just followed the channel. So that's good. Yeah, I'm going to take just a quick jump through the field, and we got Jellyfish just ahead of Kaki. Why is Kaki in 9th, jockey?
I don't know. I haven't seen what's happened to Kaki. He must have had another mistake somewhere along the line. This isn't going to be another Sakito race for him, is it?
Well, we could well be. That's the only race so far this season. Sakito in the second round of the season, where he... Oh my god, no, I shouldn't have mentioned that sound, because now everyone's starting to follow me, and I haven't had a chance to turn it off yet. But, yes, Sakito, round 2. Kaki finished 14th as... What? I was looking away from the screen, someone hit the wall, what happened?
I don't know. I'm trying to...
It sounded like someone hit the wall.
Through. It did sound like someone hit the wall. I can't see who it was, though.
Well, we'll stick with these two McLarens for now. Jellyfish ahead of Kaki. Look like Kaki was gaining a lot through the first kink there. Then, of course, up the hill. No way to be side by side, as I think I just might have seen Kanuma challenging a car up ahead as well. If the camera was changed, he is really challenging Mini Black, which is also an interesting battle there. And yeah, Kanuma is slowly making his way up the field. I think Yoki will have to soon try to work out what position he needs to get up to if to keep second if Grons race to win this race.
It's currently 10 points difference between the two going into this round. That is, I believe it's 35 actually. Just jump up to them now because Mini Black is having to go defensive to Kanuma. Kanuma was trying to go around the outside. I did just jump back to Kaki and Jellyfish. It did look like they were going side by side as well, but my eyes deceived me with that one. But Mini Black holding on to 6th position for the moment. Kanuma up in 7th. But yeah, 10 points between the two of them going into the race. It's 35 points for a race win, I believe.
It is indeed, and of course we have to remember Gronster also got 1 bonus point for the pole position, which he just got.
Yep. There'll be 9 points difference.
Yep, true.
So you'll need to quickly work out.
At the moment, Gronster gets 35 for the win, and then... Ooh, and if Kanuma was to finish 4th, he'd get 26, so it'll go back to who has the most race wins, which would be Gronstra. Regardless, actually, of whether he wins this race, because he has 2 already so far this season. Kanuma only has 1 race win this season. So Kanuma then, he needs to finish top 3 if Gronstra wins the race, which is going to be a tough task, but not impossible.
No, certainly not. Kind of semi taking a little bit more of a look further down the field, as obviously you got a Jellyfish and Kaki battle going on behind this for 8th position, and then behind that you got a 3-car train of Andrex, Sula and also Freda. And Sula having a little bit of a look down the inside of Andrex coming into the chicane. There's no contact between the two. Andrex trying to hold it around the outside but having to go the very long way round. Sula lighting up the rear tyres, may have actually lost the position there.
He has.
He did momentarily gain it, but lost it from overstepping on the accelerator, and that has cost him 10th place there. He almost had it, and then that actually almost cost him 11th place as well, as Freda was very, very close to the back of him, trying to join in on the battle as well. Andrews going very defensive, coming into the hairpin to cover off any potential challenge by Sula, but Sula saw the defensive move pretty early and decided to just take his normal line, but he was compromised somewhere along the line through that corner, as Fred is now very, very close to the back of him, trying to look around the outside into turn 1, which will give him the inside of turn 2 if he can get up alongside, but he doesn't for the moment. He's just going to slot back in behind the tiny Bentley, which completely and utterly dwarfs that tiny little Z4 behind it.
Very, very true. And yeah, Freda
running out wide.
Not the grass, the gravel. There's not much grass to be seen around this position. So if there is, it's not very colourful.
It is more grass than it is gravel. Actually, it's just very dry, dead grass.
Okay, well, they should probably spray it with some water or something, but...
give it some love.
Yeah, give some love, man. We need to think about the environment here. Speaking of the environment, that wouldn't have been such a great environment if Sula had hit the back of Andrex, which he nearly did, into that slow double right-hander. Managed to slow it down just in time though, and also hold on from Freda, who is was really also getting close in that particular section of the track. Let's see if Sula can keep that Bentley flowing nicely through the S's and into the hairpin. The Z4 should be good through turn 10 here. But Sula's done enough to keep a gap going into the hairpin sufficiently so that Fredda doesn't really have a chance to do any sort of dive bombs. Big check on Kaki is still stuck behind Jellyfish, so we're going to go down the field then. Kaki's team at Ginger, running 13th at this moment in time. Martin van der Bent 14th, so into the points after running wide right at the start of the race. Central 15th, and Wycomb's holding the final point position at this moment in time. Brownski in 17th. Good to see him on the track though, even if he's not in the points at the moment. Good to see him on the track for once instead of this Twitch chat.
He's actually racing.
He's actually driving his car, which is good. And not too far behind Wycomb's either, so might fancy a bit of a battle if he can manage to get close enough. Tipple running 18th right now, not quite the race he would have wanted. Gibbs in 19th, and Dangerous Janetta has actually retired to the pits, which is unfortunate.
Nice.
Actually, Jellyfish has pulled away from Kaki and now is at the back of Kanuma and Mini Black.
No, okay. I was just I just pick up. Sorry, no, I was just picking up Martin van der Bent, who was fairly close to Dinder, and I thought he may have made, or was going to try and make a move into turn 7, the right-handed hairpin, but it didn't.
Kanuma's gone wide. Kanuma might lose a position. Oh, there's smoke everywhere. What's happened in front as well? There was so much smoke in the camera going in the hairpin there, but Kanuma's dropped.
Kanuma's had a moment somewhere along the line. He's dropped down into 8th place.
Yeah, but there's smoke somewhere. Oh my god, there's a three-way massive scrap for third now. Hideaki right in the back of Klawutsky, and Claessen's right with him. That might have been what kicked up some dust before. Where's Claessen's gone? He didn't get picked up. Claessen's, I swear he was just at the back of them.
Hideaki. Claessen's has dropped
off. There
was
3 cars
quite
there.
Considerably.
Oh well, I'm confused. Anyway. Yeah, Ginger Janetta was actually the man you could see there back out on track. So he's not retired then, which is good. He's still trying to keep going. You know, it's looking pretty hopeless for him in terms of scoring points at the moment. And in terms of the 2 guys at the front, Gronstra and Papand still holding station. And again, Gronstra 3/10 faster than Papand on the previous lap. So the gap between them remaining, well, too big
continuing
for
to grow.
Papand to battle with him right at this moment.
Yeah, it's continuing to grow between those two. Hideaki still doing good, challenging. Ooh, Blowitsky, who looked like he caught the curb a little bit funny. That car looked like it stepped out a little bit. It's light under rotation, under braking. It's actually a really cool camera angle there. I wish it zoomed out a little bit more, a little bit earlier as the cars fly past. And coming across the start-finish line to begin. What lap are we on now? Lap 13.
13.
Well, we're now on out of 38, yes.
Basically third of the way through then. Pretty much. So Larsen's not too far ahead of Mini Black. And oh my goodness me! Kanuma with Kaki there! Come on, camera, change! Come on! I want to see this! There we go! Kanuma is ahead of Kaki in 8th. Kaki's in 9th.
He was.
Was he?
Anyway,
yeah, he was,
yeah,
but he was definitely not this close. He was not this close. It looked like how Kaki was about to pass him there.
It was fairly close. The gap hasn't really changed between Jellyfish and Kaki. I think Kanuma made his mistake a short while ago and slotted between the two, but yeah, there was a little bit of a moment there where I just picked up the 2 of them, and Kaki was pretty close to the back of Kanuma, but it looks like Kanuma is now closing up to the back of Jellyfish. It's so hard to keep tabs when there's just, like, there's so many people driving around.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're trying to pick out all the battles as they happen. And you could be watching one group of cars, and then in the background you can see another group of cars. And yeah, it's good that we've got 2 eyes at least.
It's quite interesting though that Kanuma and Kaki battling for 8th position, when those 2 have been kind of the 2 main challenges for the top spot in the championship this season. But yeah, the final race just not working out for them. As we mentioned, Kanuma needs to finish top 3 as it stands to keep 2nd place in the championship. Actually, let's also try to work out whether, with Papan finishing 2nd, whether it's actually going to drop down to 4th as well. Because Papan is 20 points behind Kanuma going into this. Yep. At the moment, Kanuma is scoring 14 for 8th. Peppan scoring 32 for seconds. So actually, Kanuma as it stands holds on by 2 points to Peppan. But that is very, very close. If Kanuma has a mistake now and drops a few positions, that will all be different.
It will be, but at the moment he's looking quite threatening on the back of Jellyfish. Closed up in a number of places around the track. I think it's just this circuit and possibly a couple of the tracks towards the end of the calendar that haven't really suited the Aston Martin. Apart from Monza, obviously Monza would be very, very strong for the Aston Martin, but here in Sonoma it won't be so great likewise with the McLaren, whereas the Z4 will be very, very strong around this track. See, trying to fight his way past the McLaren of Jellyfish up ahead of him. Closing up in a number of places, but running wide just a little bit here or there, just shy of the apex. And it looks like the guys in front of him are starting to spread out a little bit.
Yeah, Hideaki has
well.
dropped well away from Kravitsky. I think Hideaki must have made a little mistake there, okay? Because he's dropped several seconds to Kravitsky in the last couple of laps.
Yes, he has.
So, of course, unfortunate for him. He's gained 1/10 though back, at least on the previous lap. So, really an anomaly as Jellyfish getting pressured. Man, Jellyfish must feel the pressure now, having the top two in the championship on the back of him like this. But Yorkie at the moment, you have to say, he's really doing well to deal with.
Yeah, it's a reasonably difficult circuit to overtake. I guess there's a couple of places you can do it. So yeah, as long as you're placing your car fairly well, which Jellyfish has been doing so far, and is obviously continuing to improve his racecraft. The more that he has raced, although he's gone a little bit deep there, this may allow Kanuma to get up very close to the back of him, but Kanuma can't really do anything with it as Jellyfish does get the drive coming off the corner, straightening up a little bit earlier. But yeah, obviously Jellyfish coming in during season 3, I believe it was.
Yeah,
yes, it was.
Right.
Yeah, because I was racing with him,
Right.
or against him in a number of races, and that he's come on very, very well, and the racecraft improves the more you drive and the more that you race, and then you can get in a situation like this where you do have some very big championship contenders closing up into the back of you. It's kind of serves as good practice for pressure handling, like you were alluding to earlier.
It really does. It really does. You have to be so focused as Kanuma gets so close to the back of him. It's all about not making a mistake. If Jellyfish can just keep his car under control and do nice line, get good exits, he might just hold on, although the Kanuma has really kind of caught him off guard there potentially a little bit in the braking zone. The Jellyfish did leave him a lot of room, and that was side by side down to the next double right-hander, and Kanuma's actually had enough straight line speed in that Aston Martin to pull ahead even before the corner to take that position up to 7th place for Jellyfish, who finally shows a tiny crack there, and Kanuma takes full advantage to claim that position. Let's see now if Kanuma does have the pace to charge after the guys in front, or if he actually still has to keep an eye on Jellyfish. He definitely doesn't need to put tires on the gravel or dead grass as he did there. But for now, he's done enough to at least for the end of this lap to hold on. But 22 laps to go. We're not even halfway through the race yet. It feels like it's been going on for a while. But yeah, Kanuma making a pass happen around this track, which in itself is pretty impressive at this level.
Yep, that was quite a good clean pass by the two of them as well. I could actually see Kanuma trying to line himself up for the pass coming into the carousel section. I think Jellyfish may have just looked over to see exactly where Kanuma was, and in doing so ran a little bit deep going into the corner. Again, there he was actually shy of the apex going through turn 3A. They're now into turn 4. The next corner will be turn 5. Yeah, it was basically here where Kanuma was setting himself up, and then obviously Jellyfish on the previous lap a little bit wide, and Kanuma was there to basically take the ground on the inside, and then as we saw, it got the drive coming out of the corner and down the straight, and Kanuma actually recognised fairly early on that he had managed to get past Jellyfish and actually immediately went on the defensive by switching across Jellyfish's nose to cover off the inside line and make sure that Jellyfish couldn't make the move back on him. So pretty good driving by the two drivers, obviously avoiding making contact, and Kanuma for getting himself up into 7th place. That's the second time this lap with Jellyfish, and on the previous lap with Kanuma, it looked like the guys were running out wide enough to be picking up a track limits penalty, but neither of them got it. So they both carry on for the moment, but Kanuma is starting to pull away from Jellyfish now as he is coming under pressure from Kaki behind.
Yep, a McLaren battle 1-on-1 as we had a car in the pits there. That probably was Gibbs, who in which case would have been a lap down. Because it was McLaren. So hopefully not something we missed there that is too important. But yeah, let's focus on the McLaren battle still. Jellyfish has let one top driver through. Can he, well, how long can he stay ahead of the other? I guess it's fair to say. Well, you can't put it past Jellyfish to be able to do it until the end of the race, of course, but when you got the man who's already crowned champion for the season on the tail like this, then of course that's going to be a very, very tough task. I also saw briefly a battle towards the back of the points scoring positions. I think it was for 15th with Gingy S and Sula being very close together. Kaki's teammate, and he's actually got in the pits now. So we are nearly at the halfway point of the race. So I guess drivers feel the need then to come in for some fresh tires in the race, unless Jinda had some. Actually, let's try to call him Jindas or Jinda S, because actually he told me he was asking why we aren't pronouncing his S.
Okay.
But it's never going to be possible to get used to it. But anyway, he's not pitted anyway. That's the main thing, which moves Tipple on up into the points briefly, at least until he pits. Or he might try and stay out and drag his tires until the end of the race. You never quite know. Brownski also now into the points. And there is Sula with a bit of damage to his Bentley, which isn't going to help his car driving through these fast corners, Yoki. But yeah, it'll be interesting now to see at the halfway point of the race how many will go in for fresh tires and how many will try to stay out, because that has been important in very many races this season, as we have Centra also in the pits.
Yep, good spot there. Oh, Claessens is in the pits as well. Just topping up back through the field. Martin van der Bent still out. Freda still chasing down Andrex from 9th, and Kaki is chasing Jellyfish. Numa's romping away and actually pushing up towards the back of Mini Black as well. Take a quick look at the lap times there. Mini Black previous lap was a 1:29.3, whereas Kanuma's is a 1:28.6. So taking a good chunk of time out of Mini Black. Good 7/10 of a second. And you can see visually as well as they come through this S section that Kanuma's still closing up onto the back of Kanuma. With the nature of the circuit, I really expect the guys to be making at least one stop. I can't really see anyone trying to do the zero stop on this track unless they're feeling particularly brave.
It's pretty heavy on the tyres, isn't it? With all these fast sweeping corners.
Yeah, exactly. So you will wear through them a little bit quicker. There's another Z4 there in the pits, and that Hideaki, yep.
It means that Kanuma technically right now is challenging for a third suddenly, which of course is the position he needs for the championship, but we'd assume that he has to pit as well some point soon.
Yep.
With Papan and Gronstra still out on track with that and pitted, of course. And Papan still trying, Mini Black now trying to hold on from Kanuma, and Jellyfish behind still trying to hold on from Kaki. All these top 6 yet to pit in the race, but yeah, interesting. As I mentioned, it usually is a few drivers that try to drag the tires in the end, but yeah, as we mentioned, I'd be surprised at this track if someone does try it. But people like Brownski has done to good effect in the past. You wouldn't put it past him, I think.
No, he may try something in this race.
He's not got too much to lose, has he? Really? He might as well just try something different.
Yes, it could be worth a gamble if you're towards the back of the field, and may potentially pop you up into the points. Maybe they're getting very, very close there to the back of Mini Black through the S section. Both of them managing to keep it on the track. Do either of them pit this time round? No, neither of them do. As far as I can tell, Mini Black's car was just off camera to the right as it was going through the hairpin. And Numa may have a little bit of a run here at Mini Black, and he's going for the inside and coming into turn 1. He thinks better of it though and slots back in behind the Z4 for now. May get a little bit of a switchback hit coming out the exit of turn 2. But for now he just tucks underneath the rear wing and stays there through turn 3 and then turn 3A. Now on the run down towards turn 4, so he'll be following him around for another lap. It's probably his next best opportunity, is trying to get the decent run coming out of turn 6, the carousel, which they are now coming into as they come over the crest. And then turn left, and if Mini Black runs wide like that, it does present Konuma with the opportunity to try and step up the inside. However, with the Z4's aero efficiency, he'll probably go on the power a little bit earlier than the Aston Martin can, try and negate some of the straight line advantages that the Aston Martin would have down the straight. So Konuma runs a little bit deep there on the initial braking, almost makes contact with the back of Mini Black, carried on going straight for a little bit there. Interesting actually just seeing the two lines between the two drivers through that S's section. Mini Black kind of taking it a little bit wider upon entry and kind of sweeping in, whereas Konuma was a little bit more direct and angular.
And a little bit wide there as well, but I don't think it lost too much speed from it. Yeah, I just kind of remembered going through that lap with the bumper cam of Konuma that there are quite a few sort of blind apex corners on this track. We have 2 of them in the first part of the lap, one of them coming up here. I guess half blind. It's at least very kind of over a bit of a crest, even though you can see part of the curb before you turn in. Then of course this one coming over the hill again. You have to start turning before you can really see the apex too much from inside the cockpit. Then another one up through turn 6, where you mentioned Mini Black running wide on the previous lap, but I think the aero of the Z4 is such that he can afford to run a bit wide and then get it turned in on the power pretty early, whereas as we can see now, Konuma taking a much tighter line through the whole corner, which is quite interesting. I guess he's worked out that is what suits the Aston Martin a little bit better. And also interesting though that none of these guys have pitted yet, because we are now just about over the halfway point of the race. We had 38 laps, we have 17 to go. So Yorkie, what are we thinking? Do you think these guys will go in, or it's impossible for us to know, because we obviously haven't driven this track this season, but so far I'm starting to think that these guys might try to stay out.
That had kind of popped into my mind at the same time as well, and actually considering Konuma's position that he's currently in, P4, he gets P3, he's going to have Mini Black, Jellyfish, Khaki, Andrex, Redder, Martin van der Bent. Claessens was the... Claessens? No, it wasn't Claessens, was it? It was Klawitsky. Klawitsky was the first driver who was actually down in 13th and actually run wide as he's dropping back even more, as if he's picking up the cut track penalty. He makes contact with the wall. Is this a disconnect from Klawitsky?
Oh, there. Please stay
I think this might be a disconnect, because I can still hear you, which means it isn't my internet.
Yeah.
And he's pulled over to one side of the track there.
That's a big shame. He was running in the top 3 before pitting.
Yeah, it was. It was just as I picked him up as well. Hopefully I haven't cursed him in some way. But
he just got lapped there as well. That was Grunstro coming through to lap him. So it's all gone wrong there for Klawitsky after such a promising start of the race. Very, very solid first half. It's a big shame to see. Whatever was the problem with him there.
Yeah. It was Hideaki was the next person who was behind Klawitsky, wasn't it, before the pit stops? He was in 4th place, I believe. Hideaki was?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Yes, so he's currently in 10th, Konuma in 4th. As McLaren getting out the way there of Hideaki, who was a lap down. So he's got quite a few cars between him, between Konuma and Hideaki. So if he is trying the zero stopper and none of these guys pit,
yeah. Well, Hideaki's trying to one stopper.
He may have. Obviously, yeah, Hideaki's already pitted, so he is on the fresh set of tyres. He won't be needing to pit again unless he takes on a serious amount of damage, at which point he's kind of out of the running for the podium spot. But I'm just thinking, if none of these guys behind Kanuma pit, that's quite a few cars for Hideaki to try and fight his way past. And yes, he'll have the fresher rubber, but kind of does have time running against him with 15 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely.
14 laps.
And especially at a track like this, which is hard to pass on by default anyway. Of course, the fresher tires is going to make well, give him more of a chance anyway than he would have had normally, but still, all these cars to battle with on the way back to where he was before, that's going to definitely lose him quite a bit of time. It remains to be seen if those fresh tires gives him enough pace as it stands. So as oh my god, I've still forgotten to turn on the sound. On the previous lap though, Hideaki had a second fastest lap of all the drivers. Only Grunster, the race leader, had a faster one. So he's clearly got the pace. Question is, has he got enough to get back to anywhere near the sort of position he was in before?
We shall see. I'm just trying to look now to see where Hideaki is. So he's now just coming into the very long left-hander, turn 9, going past Glowicki's car into turn 10.
Yeah, and Kanuma and Mini Black, who are the guys that he would need to pass if he is to get back to where he was, basically. Yep. So with Glowicki out, Hideaki would have been third if he had not pitted at this point. Yeah, these guys are pretty much at the other side of the track.
Yeah, so Hideaki is just gone over the line now. Mini Black is coming into the carousel turn 6, with obviously Kanuma right behind him, so that is quite a big gap to try and make up. But then again, the nature of the circuit, it's if the tyres do start to go on here, you're not going to have much grip pretty much anywhere, and oh, this could be actually really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Could make for a very exciting finish to the end of this race. All Kanuma's got to do is just try and get past Mini Black at some point and build himself enough of a gap / buffer to kind of try and cover Hideaki off.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because this is of course given Kanuma a much better chance at getting that top 3 that he needs to keep hold of second place in the championship. As it stands then, he will definitely keep Papan at bay. As far as that is concerned, Papan as he stands will be staying 4th in the standings. But as we mentioned, it's down to Kanuma getting up to 3rd to hold on for 2nd place in the standings ahead of Perry Grunstraw, who is currently dominating this race. Got about a 10-second gap to Papan in 2nd right now, and then it's a pretty massive gap down to this battle here in 3rd. But Kanuma, he has stayed behind Mini Black for quite a while though so far, so it's definitely not going to be easy for him. And Jellyfish as well, not too far behind. Kaki's actually dropped off a little bit, so it's not quite working out for him, but considering he won the championship last week, maybe he hasn't really done too much practice for this race, considering there's not too much in it for him, even though he still, of course, would have wanted to do as well as possible. But yeah, Mini Black, a competitive driver. He's been around for a long time, even though he has yet to finish on the podium this season, which probably just motivates him even more to keep Kanuma behind, to be honest, because Mini Black then will be defending for his first podium finish for a long time.
Yep, definitely an incentive there. Try and keep him behind. Obviously, he's not really involved in the fight for 2nd place in the championship, and to be honest, he probably doesn't really care either. As harsh as that sounds, it is very much all for yourself out there, unless you're obviously working together with a teammate. They're in and around you, and actually just noticing the line that Kanuma is taken differently to Mini Black coming up into towards turn 1 and into turn 2. Kanuma taking the much shorter and tighter route, which is slightly quicker through turn 1, but when you come to turn 2 you actually need to start braking a little bit earlier, whereas Mini Black's kind of sweeping out wide, straightening up the braking zone for turn 2 as much as possible, meaning that you can get on the brakes harder and later than Kanuma will be able to. So interesting approaches there between the two guys as to how that affects the tyre wear. I am not entirely sure. I imagine Kanuma's line is probably a little bit easier on the tyres than Mini Black's would be.
Hard to say. Hard to say. But either.
Well, if you're carrying the speed, then they'll probably scrub the tyres a little bit more if you're demanding for them to turn into the corner.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. But Numa's gonna be running in that hot air, of course, off Mini Black, which might not help his cause. We can still see Klobutski's car sitting off the track there. So I have no idea what happened to him. He might have had some kind of technical issue with his equipment or something like that. I don't really know what else would force him to stop, because it wouldn't have been a disconnection because then his car would disappear, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So, and know what happened to Klobutski. We can also mention that unfortunately Wycombs, it is out of the race as well. He's been out for a few laps now, as he's chilling in the Twitch chat. And Klobutski had to answer a call.
I saw that as
well. My god. Whoever was calling Klobutski there needs to be unfriended on Facebook, because that it's not... well, it was always going to be hard for Klobutski to get back into the podium position he had, considering he pitted, whereas all these guys have not. But he definitely would have had a good chance, and if not for the podium, for a very good result still. So that's going to be annoying, to say the least, as far as Klobutski is concerned.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate, but obviously does explain why he pulled over to the side of the road, because obviously he would have just run off to go answer the phone and the car would have kept on going straight. And yeah, smashed into the wall. There's Kaki in the background. I was wondering, we did see Kaki drop off earlier on, a few laps ago, but I wasn't entirely sure what the actual gap difference was, as I've just been kind of sat focusing on Konuma, watching this battle for third at the moment. But I did just see a snapshot with Kaki in the background. It looks like there's probably a gap of a good 5, maybe 6 seconds or so. A little bit of traffic here for the guys in 3rd, 4th and 5th position. Jellyfish still holding on. He's still there, running in 5th. Not too far away.
Indeed, and I think Martin van der Bent has recently lost a couple of positions. I'm pretty sure he was running 9th not too long ago, but Hideaki and Claessens have both gone past him. Hideaki now up to 9th then, on his fresher tyres. But he's got all these cars, these 8 cars ahead of him, that all have not pitted yet. Of course, then we'll have gained a lot of time as a result of not going to spend time in the pit lane, but they're now in a position where they have to really nurse their tyres. I'm pretty sure the top 8, sorry, are really gonna be feeling these tyres in the last 10 laps here, unless they have done an incredible job at managing them so far in the race. Let's have a just comparison of the previous lap times. Hideaki did 1:28.6. Mini Black, who's currently defending for 3rd, was nearly 2 seconds slower, so it just shows it. But of course, with all that time lost in the pit lane, yeah, it's still a long way to go to for Hideaki, who has about 10 seconds or so maybe up to the car ahead of him at the moment.
Yeah, still quite a big gap between those two, and we've only got 9 laps remaining as well, so he hasn't got an amazing amount of time, but it will very much be, I think, this battle here for 3rd place with Konuma trying to hold on to 2nd place in the championship. This will get very tense towards the end, and like you're saying, the person who has looked after their tyres the most will probably be the one coming out on top, considering these two guys are running so close together still.
Yeah, and Mini Black acting as just a massive roadblock for Konuma. Yeah. He must be feeling very frustrated that Mini Black just hasn't blinked for the last 10 or so laps. He's been following him, not put a foot wrong at all. We saw earlier in the race that Jellyfish had the same story ahead of Konuma for quite a while, but then eventually allowed Konuma to slip up the inside suddenly through turn 6. Mini Black has not allowed Konuma close enough for that just yet. But only 8 laps to go now, as the Grand Strat started lap number, what would be then, 30, I think?
Yes.
As Konuma gets
31
even. You just see Konuma how close he's getting, but just missing the apex a little bit through there, and definitely it's... That corner is so annoying when you're following another car, because you just... it's so... First of all, it's hard to spot a turning point in the apex, but of course you have that little
front end washout.
Yeah, front end washout behind the air behind the car in front. That just makes you understeer a little bit more, and it's so hard to keep behind close enough into the hairpin, which is only 100 meters or so further up the road. Well, not quite 100 meters, but not very long up the road from that one.
Yeah, and the Aston Martin suffers quite heavily from medium speed mid corner understeer as well. So you could actually see it on the previous lap. Konuma, it looked like the front end of the car just did not want to turn in. It just drifted out wide and dropped a couple of car lengths off the back of Mini Black. So I imagine he's probably struggling with tyres. It's only going to hurt the tyres even more, and it's just going to compound the issue even further, and basically snowball effect on that one. But still, he seems to be a little bit quicker than Mini Black in a couple of places. He seems to be later on the brakes than Mini Black is, open to the hairpin there as well, which will bode well for him if he can get a decent run coming out of the carousel at some point and get his car up alongside.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just watching Andrix at the moment in 7th place. Who's got Fredder for company, and then you can see Hideaki. Not too far behind. Hideaki is rapidly closing on those fresh tires, but closing is one thing, passing is another. Fredder makes light hash of that. It was turn 8A that we mentioned before.
Yep.
So not quite at the back of Andrix anymore. Kaki though, he's only just ahead of Andrix actually in 6th. That's interesting.
Yep. Not too big a gap between those two. They just jump back up real quick and look to see where Konuma was. He's still holding on to the back of Mini Black as Jellyfish actually goes and runs out wide that. Coming through turn 3A. It cost him a little bit of time. Let's see where Papand is. Coming into the S
good point.
section.
We haven't really looked at the two front
two
guys
leaders.
so much in this race.
Yeah, so
even though
just coming down to the final hairpin, and then Papan is just coming into the very fast right-hander. Sorry, turn 10.
Yeah, that's what tends to happen, isn't it? It's a bit like Mercedes in F1 in real life when they have a driver just running away out in front and you barely see them throughout the whole race, and suddenly they won. Kind of the story of Grunster's race here today, but of course that is just a testament to how incredible his pace has been today. That he's managed to pull a gap and not had to deal with any sort of battling. As it stands, say with Papan, of course, not quite been able to match Grunster's pace, but he's been faster than everyone else in the race. As we skip back to Mini Black, who nearly looked like he had Konuma considering going up the inside. And it does look like Jellyfish has really joined this battle now as well. So Mini Black, it seems like he doesn't have the best pace, compared to the two cars behind him, but he just doesn't put a foot wrong, and that has sort of backed both him and Konuma a little bit into Jellyfish, and we might have a three-way scrap for the final podium position.
Yeah, I actually put these guys back up as they're going through turns 7 and 7A. It looked like Konuma initially made a mistake somewhere along the line through those corners, and had dropped back quite a bit, like he has done so now. He's dropped 3-4 car lengths behind Mini Black, but actually coming through the S's section, Konuma was just so much quicker and caught back up, and there's Sula there trying to go back up the inside of Jellyfish to try and unlap himself a little bit. He thinks better of it though, and slots back in behind Jellyfish, as obviously Jellyfish will want to hold on to these guys as Konuma goes and runs out pretty deep there. So let's watch Konuma again as you come through this S's section. It's kind of a similar sort of distance last lap round between these guys, but then coming through turn 8A here, and coming down into turn 9, he just massively closed up on Mini Black on the previous lap. He hasn't done so this time round. But I think Mini Black may have made a slight mistake.
Why is Sula battling with a Jellyfish when he's a lap down? Why is he doing that?
I think where he's on fresher tyres, he probably thinks
yeah,
that
but
he
look
can
how
try
much
and get
time
past.
he's lost Jellyfish there. He's lost him at least a couple of seconds to the cars in front. That's ridiculous, and he's crashed himself out as well as a result. So,
yep.
No offense to Sula, but I think he got what he deserved on that one. Got that one on himself. Jellyfish had no reason to leave him any room whatsoever into that corner, because when you're a back marker a lap down. The only time you should unlap yourself is if you're completely sure that it's not going to cost the car on the lap ahead any time. On that occasion it definitely did. That's going to relieve some pressure for Konuma though. He's back to just focusing on Mini Black, but at the moment the focus isn't enough to get. He's got 5 laps to go in the race to find some kind of way past Mini Black here if he wants to keep hold of second place in the championship. That is what it's about as it stands. Gronstra is going to be overtaking him in the standings as the best of the rest after Kaki. But if Konuma can only find a little way past Mini Black here, or if Mini Black just puts a foot wrong, as he has not done for all this time he's been ahead, then Konuma will get that second place instead.
Yeah, I've actually just been keeping an eye on Jellyfish as well, as he's actually closing back up onto these two guys at a fairly rapid rate in the last lap or so. There's a lap ago exactly there, going through that hairpin that Sula tried to go back up the inside, but Jellyfish has closed right back up to a similar sort of distance between Mini Black and Konuma until Konuma takes a shorter line here and closes the gap back up.
He always closes the gap so much there, it seems. And then he just balances out because the Mini Black's carrying more speed into turn 2.
Yeah, see, that's that shorter line. It's just shorter in distance that allows him to close that gap back up, but he'll need to come off the gas a little bit earlier, kind of coast the car in, and then get on the brakes. But although he's got the speed and momentum, he can't really do much with it because Mini Black is basically just sat there in front of him on the racing line, so he probably can't take as much speed as he would like, as it'll just go into the back of Mini Black.
Sorry, a change of position back there. Andrek's running very wide through what I think is probably turn 4 or 5. Clausen slips himself through. It was the 90-degree right-hander, or 90-ish degree. And then Hideaki now on his fresh tires. He has, of course, gone up to 7th, and he's right on the back of the champion, Kaki now. So there's a few battles suddenly appearing, and Kaki's gone off to the side. He's actually not bothered to defend that one at all. Maybe he's worried about Clausen's and maybe Andrek's behind him instead, because he's just basically let Hideaki go through there up to 6th position. And now then, the question is, he's only got 3 laps to go though in the race. It's gonna be tough to catch up to this group. And Konuma's dropped off the back of Mini Black, and now it's Jellyfish for company once again.
Yep, I think Konuma ran a little bit deep in the hairpin, and Jellyfish got a pretty good drive coming off the corner, but struggled to keep up with the Aston Martin a little bit down the straight, although he just seems to be so much quicker through the corners. I think Jellyfish has the slightly better tyres at this moment, and wondering if Konuma has tried to demand a little bit too much, although Mini Black did run out wide there, going through turn 3A. Konuma running a little bit deep, which will compromise his exit on the run down towards turn 5, which is pretty much completely flat out. I don't think I've ever really lifted through there unless the tyres are completely dead, which they probably will be very close to being so for these guys.
Oh god, and look who's at the back of Jellyfish again.
It's Sula. It will be on the fresher tyres. I wonder if
really have learned from his dive bomb before, I wonder.
Yeah. He might just, with the last couple of laps, he may just kind of follow these guys through and not interfere.
Because there's absolutely no reason for him to really go for it. There's no one ahead of him that he can pass or catch up to if he gets ahead there. So obviously it's going to be frustrating for him when he's a lap down and on the faster tires, and therefore has the pace. Oh my god, and Konuma spun it! There was a contact! I didn't quite see if there was. There was not the best angle for it, but Konuma's gone completely off. Oh my goodness me! He's completely flipped his car and taken out Hideaki, who didn't see him coming around the corner there as well as he was rejoining the track. That is game over for Konuma. He's lost his whole rear end of his car there. Hideaki's broken down completely as well. Konuma can't even move off the racing line. Fingers crossed the guys behind can see him coming, Yorkie. What has happened there?
I honestly do not know. That is absolutely huge. Konuma's got absolutely massive damage to the car. Obviously saw him roll over after being smashed up the rear from Hideaki, who would have had no idea what was going on. Hideaki's pulled into the pits, lot him down, but oh man, That
Didn't see that coming, not gonna lie.
no, that was huge. I'm wondering if there was a tap between Jellyfish and Kanuma.
Yeah, they
I'm
were
not 100%
certainly
sure.
very
Maybe
close.
a little lag tap. Yeah, Jellyfish was closing up, but it didn't look like visually to me that they were close enough to make a tap. So it must have been through lag, if anywhere. But yeah, Kanuma just completely lost the car, and it snapped back on him as well, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so, because he, I assume in that situation he would have tried to hold us a slide and then just couldn't do it. And spun completely into the wall, and of course, yes, he tried to get it going again. Hideaki came around the corner, didn't see him, because obviously you come in through that corner with very, very high speed, and the last thing you expect if you're in Hideaki's cockpit there is cars suddenly sitting there on the race line trying to get going again. So a massive shame for both of those cars, as Sula still trying to make passes. He's now passed and unlapped himself from Jellyfish, and Mini Black's going to be really annoyed if Sula loses him time here as well, because this is for the podium position, and he's hit him in the back. Why is Sula doing? That is a steward's inquiry after the race, as Mini Black has now dropped down to 4th with who is that? Who has taken that? Jellyfish, of course, who would have taken that with Kanuma no longer in the mix. Yeah, still don't know why Sula is battling these guys when he's on the lap down. That is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, this does mean with Kanuma now in 11th. Sorry, wait, Kanuma now in 4th. Oh, the race has ended actually. So that is why the gaps are being confused. Because Gronsha's won the race! To imagine, we haven't seen much of him in this race because he's been so dominant pace, been on him by himself all race long. Him and Papan as well. 1-2 for those guys. Absolutely impressive. We're going to have to see exactly where Kanuma ended up on the track, because I think because of dropping so many positions down, he might have just been passed by Papan in the championship as well. And Mini Black finishes 4th. That's going to be frustrating with that incident when Sula, who ridiculously took him out on the final lap of the race when he had no business being there. Claessen's in 5th position. Kaki, a disappointing season finale for him, but it doesn't really matter as far as Kaki is concerned. To be honest, he's already won the championship. It's been a supreme season from him. And Andrex in 7th position.
Ooh, Freda and Centro are side by side as they come out the final turn. Centro is, I think...
That was the 7th? No, wait. No, okay, Centro was on the
okay, so Centro was left down.
Okay.
It looked like those two guys are going side by side. Andrex got 7th, with Freda in 8th. Brownski getting 9th. I actually did see on the previous lap Kanuma spinning through turn 8A as Papan was coming up behind him.
Has Brownski actually finished 9th?
Kanuma...
Sorry to cut off
yes.
that. Has Brownski... Okay.
Yes,
okay.
he's finished.
Okay, continue point, because I'm just shocked.
But yeah, Kanuma did lose a couple more positions. I think his current position of 11th is correct.
Yeah, it would be at this point, because all the cars will now finish. So here's the order then. Kanuma is going to drop from 2nd down to 4th in the final standings, with Gronstra and Papan both moving ahead of him with that 1-2 finish for them. And Kanuma, he had a chance. He was trying to get past Mini Black for 3rd for so long. Had he done it, he would have kept 2nd place in the standings. But that little, I'm not quite sure what to call it yet, mistake or incident with the Jellyfish. So we're not quite sure 100% whether there was actually a tap there. But I'm not quite sure how else he would have spun it there, to be honest, if there wasn't a tap. So I think there might have been maybe some lag, or actually just Jellyfish getting tiny bit too close on that occasion. But Jellyfish does end up in 3rd then, after Mini Black was taken out by Sula a lap down. Claessen's in the top 5 there. Kaki down in 6th. Andrex, Freda, Brownski, someone in the top 6. No offense, Brownski, but well, I guess Brownski keeping out of trouble then at least, which is good for him. And same with Martin van der Bent, those two getting 9th and 10th. Solid points. As we said, Kanuma will go down in 11th. Dinja, Hideaki, Sula, Tipple and Centro rounding up the point scorers. Then we have Gibbs, who finished a lap down in 17th. Then Janetta had some issues very early on, managed to recover a couple of laps down though, still in 18th and out of the points. And of course Klawutski and Wycombs, unfortunately. Well, Klawutski had to take that call after pitting,
Yep.
which is annoying. And of course Wycombs having some issues as well. That was the 20 cars I raced.
Yes, and looking at the actual Manufacturers' Championship as well,
Ooh, I've forgotten about that one!
I think Clean Racing Group may have taken the win.
Have they done it? Remember, only the top 2 point scorers score points, and yeah.
So Gronstra was
Where's
first.
Dinda? Is Dinda gone?
No, Dinda
No,
was
he's
still there.
12th, sorry. My bad. So yeah, because only the top 2, even for drivers, teams with 3 drivers, there's only the top 2 that score points in the race, if I remember correctly.
Let's see.
So Freddy's points will not count for the team championship, even though he finished 8th. They will get the points for 1st and 5th with the Gronstra and Claessens.
Yep,
So,
that will be against Karki's 6th and
close.
Dinda's
That could be
12th.
close. That could be very close. So
That's
Gronstra
good.
gets 35. Claessens gets 23. I'm sorry, Gronstra gets 36 with a pole point as well. So 26, 33. Well, the people watching this on YouTube later, when I probably add the standing to the
59.
top, they'll be like, why are you trying to work this out? It says it right there on the screen. But I wish it was that easy in the live stream. But sorry, how much did you say? How much did you say?
59?
59.
26 to 33.
59.
No.
So 59, and then Karki finished 6th. That would be 20. Plus Dinda's 12th. That would be 5. So that's 25. Which means they've done it. Clean Racing Group have done it.
Wow.
So Clean Racing Group then has overtaken We the Flintstones Racing in the team championship and won that one.
So, interesting. A lot of swapping around here in the final round of season 5.
Indeed. So then, Yorkie, for the final time this season, who are we going to bring in to the interview box, or the commentary box, for an interview? I think we promised Karki last week that we would stay away from him this time, since we had his champions interview after Hockenheim, and we had him in so many times.
Yep.
So let's see. Hello, Perry Gronstra.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. Congratulations, second place on the championship.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that also, yeah. Sonoma was a little bit too far behind.
He
Yes.
had an incident towards the end. He already wouldn't have beaten you because he was really struggling to get past Mini Black for 3rd place, which is what he needed, considering he won to get well, stay ahead of you. But your dominant race just meant you are now
I thought
second place champion.
he need by something like a 7th place or something, 6 or 7.
Nope.
Pretty sure you only need 3rd, unless I'm just stupid. But which could
anyhow.
very well be the case. But yeah,
I was amazed I didn't have to stop. With the pit stop, the tire stays quite good because I practice a lot, but I never managed to go all the way the race. I struggled only the last 6 laps. They were completely gone, but
wow.
the lead was big enough, so I thought, who cares?
Yeah, we was quite surprised at that actually. I think all of the, well, at least the guys that were top 8 after the some people started pitting. We were quite surprised that so many people stayed out.
Yeah, no, I was waiting. I think when Papant is pitting, I pit also.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And as long as he doesn't do that, I think I stay out and hope for the best.
Yeah, maybe he was thinking the same with you. Maybe if he thought, well, actually, to be honest, if I was in his position, if you pitted, I would just try to stay out, just to try and do something else. But yeah, either way, it was a supreme performance from you in terms of pace. Fantastic pace all race long and no mistakes that I could see anyway. So
no, I had no big issues or something.
Yep, your 3rd win of the season. So I guess we can say it's been a very, very strong first full season for you in the league. What's your assessment then on the season overall?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's big fun, great fun, and it was my first season, so I had to learn a lot of things, and I made, especially in the beginning, a few stupid mistakes, what cost me a lot of points. But overall, I think it's a strong league. It's good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Of course, yeah, we're definitely with your. You didn't have the best start as you mentioned, but from around 5 onwards, you were on the podium. 5 out of the 7 races there. So certainly the second half of your season was very, very impressive indeed.
Yep. Certainly do learn a lot, and across the season, especially your first recce season. So hopefully we shall see you next season bouncing back even stronger and fighting for that championship from the very start.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I practice now the whole season, so...
But the season calendar may change.
Yeah, everything changes, but yeah, it depends on all the things in the race. You have to learn a lot, because I don't race for that long. This sim racing, I have sim races now for nearly a year or something. So before that, I never did online racing or whatever.
Okay. Well, you certainly come in and
Yes.
done a really good job. So all we can say really is well done, not only on the race win today, but also second in the championship.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, man.
Okay.
Very good job, well
See you
done.
next season, hopefully, and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Right.
Okay. Thanks.
See you, man.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Righty then. I think everyone in chat wants to hear from Kanuma, and I can understand why, so let's get him in there. Kanuma.
Amazing, wasn't it?
It was pretty unexpected, I think. What are your reaction to what happened? First of all, what is your explanation for what happened?
Well, my tires were killed because I had to try push against Mini Black all the fucking time, but it didn't work out. I couldn't make an overtake, so I killed basically my tires, and at the end, my tires were down plus the slipstream. I lost my rear end. Then I just hit the wall, and no clue what afterwards happened.
Yeah, well, so there was no contact then with Jellyfish before you
No.
you spun. Okay,
No.
that's good to know, because
Okay.
he was very close to the corner.
Yeah.
He was slightly unsure as to whether it was actually contact, but yeah, it's good to get confirmation that you just actually had a little grip with the tires. Then of course,
Even though
yeah.
that in itself is not a good thing, obviously.
yeah,
But still, it was very, very interesting and tense watching you try and fight your way past Mini Black. Was it your intention to do the 0 stop from the start, or were you
Well,
planning originally doing a 1 stopper and then switch strategy?
No, in the middle of the race, I was looking at the times, and the times were just half of a second till second slower. I was like, okay, I guess Mini Black stays out, so I'll have to do the same to gain some positions.
Yeah. Yeah, because
After
we were
that, I had to push.
push like crazy. Yeah, try and fight your way past. You came close a couple of times, but we picked up on it halfway through as well when Glassens and Hideaki pitted, and we saw that you were in 4th. We knew that you needed to get 3rd in order to stay 2nd in the
Yeah.
championship, and obviously 3rd was just a couple of car lengths in front, so it was trying to keep an eye on you and Mini Black, but I also try and watch Klawitsky and Hideaki, who Hideaki was actually the one who went into the back of you as well when you had your spin.
I thought he's gonna
That's
see me,
unfortunate.
but he didn't. I don't know why.
It's a pretty high speed corner,
Yeah.
so
I think that was just unlucky there after that happened. Really.
very unfortunate.
Yeah, what more can we say? Obviously, about your season overall, it's been. It's your first season in the league. You've been Kaki's main challenger. You've been 2nd. Well, you were leading actually the championship, weren't you, in the first 4 rounds? At
Yeah.
least?
That was totally unexpected.
Yeah. Then yeah, you've been the closest man to Kaki all the way until now. Unfortunately, you've dropped down to 4th now in the end. But yeah, how would you assess it then here? Your first season in the league.
It was a great season for me. I didn't expect to be that far ahead. in the field. Not that far ahead, but that much in front on the field. Because it was great to drive against all the skilled drivers in here. It was just amazing. The exact what I expected happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that wraps it up. We've had you in the commentary box a few times after the races, and it's been good. Thanks for racing this season, and I hope we'll see you back whenever season 6
We will see.
will come along. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.
At least it's upbeat despite jumping
Yeah.
all that.
Still chuckling away, which
Yeah.
is good to hear.
Yeah, it certainly had an interesting race, even if it didn't quite work out in the end. My question then is, who do we bring in? I've got two names in mind there. Either Jellyfish, who ended up finishing third, or Mini Black, who should have ended up finishing third. People want to hear from both. God, wow.
2 for 2. The next vote gets it.
Are we going to
Both.
go
Right,
just
we're gonna do
because it's
both.
the final
That's
race of the
3 for 2.
season? Everyone's not saying
As you-
both. Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Okay, alright, let's get both of them in.
In that case, I'm going to start with Jellyfish just because he finished the position above. He finished.
I thought they meant the same, both at the same time.
Both. Okay, well, that'd be interesting.
Both
Okay.
at the same time.
Okay. Hey Jellyfish, 1 sec before we start the
Uh-huh.
interview, because we're getting also a double interview. We're gonna go with Jellyfish and Mini Black at the same time.
Hello.
Hello guys.
Hello.
Not quite sure how well this is gonna work out, but you guys were obviously very close at the end for third, and yes. I don't know how to phrase this question because obviously,
I feel bad for Mini Black,
yes, exactly.
but
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
he was fighting me, I guess, the last 10 laps, and in the last one I thought I let him through, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just think that Solo. What was his name?
Dula.
Solo, yeah. That he was on fresh tires or something. But
Yeah,
at the
he
time,
was.
I didn't know that it was him. I thought that it was Klaassen's. Or someone else moved up. So if I knew that it had been a back marker, I would just have moved over. But I was just too frantic about getting away from everybody.
Alright, so that's interesting. In my opinion, I was obviously I knew that Tula had a tire advantage, but in my opinion, he didn't have any business being as close to you guys as he was, because he really had no one really to catch in any sort of distance ahead of him. So
Yeah, you're probably right. But since he was there,
yeah,
I could have made a difference. But I didn't know that it was a back marker.
that's fair enough. Yeah, either way, we're pretty unlucky that of course the contact happened and Jellyfish managed to slip through in the end, and then of course you were both. But first of all, well, it was interesting because you were kind of in a three-way scrap with Kanuma in the middle. You just trying to hold on desperately ahead of him, doing a very good job, and then Jellyfish trying to attack from behind. How was that battle from your view?
Yeah, I was just so happy that Jellyfish caught up to Kanuma because I really needed a break.
Yeah, he seemed to be pressuring you quite a lot. Was it your intention to go with the zero stop strategy?
No, not at all. But I just saw that I was P3 after some of the guys pitted, so I thought, why the hell not?
Yeah.
What's there to lose?
Yeah, we were working out basically how many people they had to try and fight back through to get up to you and Kanuma, and obviously there was Jellyfish, Kaki, a whole bunch of other guys as well. There was a good 6-7 cars between you and quite a fair distance on the track, so their work would have been cut out for them. So it would have been, well, should I say, it was a very good strategy that worked out quite well for you. Unfortunately, Kanuma had his spin, and actually Freda, who was the next person catching you after
okay.
had his call. Yeah. Sorry, no, Hideaki. Sorry, not Freda. Hideaki went into the back of Kanuma as Kanuma was rejoining the
too
circuit
bad, man.
after the spin. Yeah, it was quite a big crash.
How was your battle, Jellyfish, against Kanuma? I didn't get to see it. I was just trying to push away.
Interview each other. That's
And never had a fight against him. I was so far away, from you guys. You were faster than me just in the last couple of laps. I could catch you because I had the fresher tires, and Kaki wasn't behind me anymore, so I had clean air. And then I had a scary moment.
Oh, yes. We thought you
And
might have
it
tapped
was-
him, but can we confirm that there was no contact there?
No, it was very close.
So, well, you've both had pretty interesting seasons, I would say. Jellyfish, I think you've definitely done enough to keep hold of a top 10 position. You might even have jumped in actually up to 9th in the championship. How would you say your season's gone, in your opinion?
At first it was very difficult with the car, because I worked hard for the setup, and I guess since Monaco it was better, and I changed my setup to from Tony's setup. It was a completely different driving style, and yeah.
Alright. What about you, Minu? Like, how would you assess your season
Oh.
at the moment?
Up and down all the time. I think it's been a long time since I've crashed as much as this season.
Yeah, I can see 4 DNFs you've had.
Way too much, man.
Yeah.
But a good finish, that's what I'll remember.
Yeah, of course, yeah, that's your season best result. Not quite a podium, annoyingly, but
Yeah, it's okay.
so how are you guys thinking then? Obviously, I'm not quite sure exactly when season 6 will be at the moment. Are you guys thinking to potentially come back for that, or?
Definitely, yeah. We'll be back.
That's good too. What do you mean, like?
No, I'm pretty sure this is the last for now.
Alright.
I'm gonna go over to some Formula 1 and I said the cars there. Try out some new games.
I'll see you on the grid in Formula 1, of course. But
Oh, you will?
as well. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. I think for next season, a few drivers will probably take a break, and so other drivers will obviously stay on and keep fighting on project cars. So and hopefully we'll get some new drivers in as well to rise up the field again. But yeah, both you guys, thanks for joining in for the interview, and thanks for the season.
Yeah, thank you,
just
guys.
quickly as well before you go, Sula's in the chat has apologised for what he did during those last few races. Said that he was sorry and he didn't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, it's totally
It was
fine.
bad.
It's fine.
But yeah,
Well, everyone's forgiven. That's all. That's good at least. Well, guys, thanks again for joining, and yeah, I'll see you both soon again, hopefully.
Yeah, and thanks for some awesome commentating throughout the season, man. It's been awesome.
not a problem. Our pleasure.
Alright,
See ya.
guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all the driver interviews. I'm so sad. Okay. What do we do now? Life is over.
I guess we do what we usually do, where we basically
But
wrap
usually
up the
we
stream
promote the next
and-
race, but there is no next race yet.
That's true. Okay, well, maybe we can't do what we usually do then. But
That's the end.
yeah, that is it. That's the end of season 5.
That's the end of season 5. And what a season it's been. Kaki, his first championship, and of course, new drivers really impressing like Perry Gronstra, be the main of those, and lots of battling in the races that we've seen. 12 very action-packed races. And now, of course, there will be a season 6 at some point. When, I'm not quite sure yet. There has been no date set at this moment in time. And probably we'll be doing some different events, you know, in the gap between season 5 and 6, as we tend to do a few events with different cars and whatnot to spice things up a bit. Obviously, if you guys are watching, feel like joining in that as well, you can do that. Obviously, whenever information comes out on the AOR website about that one. But yeah, there's not going to be any racing then in the AOR GT3 League in terms of streaming for a few weeks at least. If you want more racing content, though, you are of course free to check out our YouTube channels. I am AOR Fizzy on YouTube, where I will not only upload the replay of this stream, but quite a bit of other racing content as well. And then we have Yorkie065 on YouTube for lots of project car stuff to dig into. Yorkie, it's been fantastic having you along for this season again. Do you have anything to wrap up the season?
No, not really. You basically covered it. Other than obviously a very, very big thank you for having me on your stream as a co-commentator. It's a pleasure as always. Every single race, there, start to finish, through technical problems, internet disconnections, and God knows what else. We are there for each other, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun doing it. I obviously hope that we can continue doing so in the future, and obviously to those in the stream chat as well, thank you very much for all coming in and joining us in the various races over this 12 race season, and hopefully we shall see you again back for season 6 when it turns up, and potentially any races in between, as Fizzy was saying, the social races that we do.
Yep.
People can join in. All you gotta do is just sign up on the website, apexonlineracing.com, and yeah, just keep an eye out in the project cards section for any events going on, and throw your name down and get involved.
Get involved in it indeed. I think that then it's gonna be the final words from us here in season number 5. As Yogi said, thanks to all of you who have been watching and following the season throughout. Thanks to all the drivers as well who have put on a good show in the races for us.
I was just about to say exactly that. It's like, how can we forget the drivers?
They've been done actual driving and the battle.
Yeah, exactly. Where would we be without them?
We would be commentating on the black screen, which wouldn't have been too entertaining, I would have thought. So, yeah. Season 6 will turn up at some point. For now, though, it'll be a break on Wednesdays for streams for a bit. But don't worry, we'll be back. And when we will be back, we hope you'll join us again. But until then, guys, thank you all again. And we will see you in Season 6. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.